What do you see when you look at me? Do you see who I am or who I'm trying to be? 'Cause I'm scared in here behind my brave face. Oh, I stand before you asking for grace, asking for grace, asking for grace. A heart with some room, a simple, safe place where I could love you like there's nothing to lose. Oh, I stand before you asking for grace. Could you keep the faith if I need some time? Just a chance for my courage to catch up with my mind. 'Cause it's all I can do not to push you away. Oh, I stand before you asking for grace, asking for grace, asking for grace. A heart with some room, a simple, safe place where I could love you like there's nothing to lose. Oh, I stand before you asking for grace. Some secret inside says that if I don't run, I will stretch like a sunflower up to the sun, asking for grace, asking for grace. A heart with some room, a simple, safe place where I could love you like there's nothing to lose. Oh, I stand before you asking for grace. I stand before you, I stand before you, I stand before you asking for grace. I stand before you, I stand before you, I stand before you asking for grace.
Well, again last night we began to fight like all the times before. Oh, when suddenly I felt strange through and through. The things in my head and the words I said didn't make sense anymore. Now I realize my life's a lie, I can't think of what to do. But if I could leave me now, I'd walk right out on me. I tell myself for my own health it's time to set me free. In fact, I've taken from me much more than I should. So if I could leave me now, yes I would. that these eyes are open, and my bags are packed and sitting by the door. I could go somewhere, but I'd still be there. So secretly I'm hoping I can stick around until I found who I am once more. But if I could leave you now, I'd walk right out on me. I'd tell myself for my own health it's time to set me free. In fact, I've taken from me much more than I should. So if I could leave me now, yes I would. I've always been the one I thought you wanted me to be, but now I guess I'll search for the me that's really me. If I could leave me now, I'd walk right out on me. I tell myself for my own health it's time to set me free. In fact, I've taken from me much more than I should. So if I could leave me now, yes I would. Oh, if I could leave me now, I'd already be gone. I would have wrote a goodbye note to read as I moved on. Someday maybe I'll catch up with me. That'll feel real good. But if I could leave me now, yes I would. Oh, if I could leave me now, I surely would. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Good morning. We've got an amazing group of singers with you today. We're called the Voce Sextet. Of course, we can be all sorts of things like an octet or even a quartet, but this one, there happens to be 6 of us. So we're going to do an all-gospel Sunday. We're so excited that you're with us, both online and in person, and we're going to start with a tune by The Sounds of Blackness.
2, 3.
smile when the world is crumbling down. And I said, here's my secret when I want to cry. Take a look around and I see that I'm getting by. And hold on,
Hold on,
change is coming.
change is coming.
Hold on,
Hold on,
don't you worry.
don't worry about a thing.
Hold on,
Hold on,
you can make it.
you can make it.
Hold on,
Hold on,
everything will be alright.
Some people like to worry, some people like to hide, some people like to run away from the pain inside. But it's your business, do what you want to do. But if it don't work out, here's what you ought to do. It said, hold on,
Hold on,
change is coming.
change is coming.
Hold on,
Hold on,
don't worry about a thing. Hold on,
hold on,
you can make it.
make it.
Hold on,
Hold on,
don't worry about a thing.
the troubles of life wear you down. Just lift your head up, yeah, yeah. When the love you seek is hard to find, don't give up, get deep strong, keep the faith, and hold on,
Hold on,
Change is coming.
change is coming.
Hold on,
Hold on,
don't worry.
don't worry about a thing.
Hold on,
hold on,
you can make it.
You can make it.
Hold on, everything will be alright.
We're gonna break it down just a little bit, you know. Keep it clapping like this. This is a little song that we like to sing when everything feels like the world is turned upside down, things are spinning around, and we sing this simple little song to bring us back to a sense of centered. La 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 la. You can sing it. La 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 la. Go, Peter.
hold on,
Hold on,
change is coming.
change is coming.
Hold on,
Hold on,
don't worry about a thing. Hold on,
hold on,
you can make it.
You can make it.
Hold on,
hold on.
everything will be alright. Hold on,
Hold on,
you can make it.
change is coming.
Change is coming.
Hold on,
Everything
don't worry about a thing.
you can make it.
Hold on,
Change is coming.
you can make it.
Hold on,
Hold on, everything will be alright. Hold on. Pete Jacobs, Steve Larson, Laura Clayton, April Garten, Bonnie Livengood. This is Dan Steelman, Larry Thompson, and I'm Janice Kelly, your music director. And we say welcome to Columbine Spiritual Center. We're centered in God. We celebrate a world of harmony, peace, and abundance for all. We're going to ask you to get up on out of your seats, even if you're at home. We're going to ask you to get on up and sing some agape favorites with us.
2, 3, 4.
I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. Well, I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Woo! every way. God is so good. Well, every day, in every way, God is so good. When I take the time to praise my spirit, God is so good. 3 times. My God is so, my God is so, my God is so good to me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. We'd like to do another agape tune. This one fits right in with our fall program. I trust in God. Just like this. I am thankful, so grateful. I am one with the Spirit all around me. I am thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. Sing that again, please. I am thankful, so thankful, so grateful. I am one with the Spirit all around me. I am thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, yeah. I surrender. I surrender. I am one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God. Yeah. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I am one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God. I'm so thankful. I'm thankful. So grateful. I am one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful. So grateful. I trust in God. I'm thankful, grateful, so grateful. I am one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. Yeah, you guys sound great. Have a seat and let's take a deep breath and prepare ourselves for prayer and meditation. I will make a quiet place, a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place, a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the Lord.
So I invite you to pray with me in that quiet place by taking a deep breath, knowing that we are the flow of life, gently closing your eyes and turning within to that quiet place, to that place where we wait upon the Lord. Sweet Spirit, we wait upon you. We wait upon the Lord, meaning we wait for that guidance. We wait in this quiet place to know. To know. We wait upon the Lord for this knowing to surface into our consciousness. For what we are to do, what we are to be in each moment of this day. And so, sweet Spirit, in this moment, we wait to hear that still small voice. We surrender the chatter of our mind. We surrender the busy thoughts. We surrender our to-do lists. We surrender who we think we are in order to be all that we came here to be. We wait upon you, sweet Spirit, for this guidance that is always there, always available, always inviting us to listen. You, as life, is longing to come through us and as us and emerge in the most beautiful, profound ways in this world. And so often we don't get that. We get wrapped up in our smallness. We get wrapped up in our dramas. We get wrapped up in our challenges, and not to say they aren't real. They are real in our human lives. And there's so much more. Spirit wanting to come through us, wanting to guide us along the path, wanting to walk side by side with us on this journey we call life. If we just allow. Allow the challenges, allow the circumstances, allow the people in our lives to be whatever they came here to be. We don't need to label it. We don't need to judge it. We just hold it with love. And we hold all of those on our prayer list and all those prayer requests in our prayer box with our love as well. Knowing that each person can wait upon the Lord of their own being for their own guidance to whatever questions they are asking. We wait upon the Lord. So I invite us now to spend a moment in meditation, in this quiet place of waiting upon the Lord.
April Garton, Laura Clayton, Bonnie Livengood, Steve Larson, and Pete Jacobs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Voce. That was beautiful. So there was a burglar in a house one night. The flashlight was dark, and he's going around the house looking for valuables, and he takes a CD player and puts it in his bag, and just as he does that, he hears this voice saying, "Jesus is watching you." And he looks around, doesn't see anything, says, I think when I'm done with this job, I really need a vacation. And so he starts, and he sees a stereo, and he starts unplugging the cords, and he's about to put it in his bag, and he hears a voice again, "Jesus is watching you." And he's like, "Who said that?" And he's taking his flashlight, and he's looking all around the room, and in the corner, in a cage, is a parrot. And he goes up to the parrot, and he goes, "Did you say that?" And the parrot said, "Yes, I'm giving you a warning." And he said, Why would you be giving me a warning? Who are you anyway? He goes, "My name is Moses." He goes, "What kind of people name their parrot Moses?" The parrot says, "The same kind of people that name their Rottweiler Jesus." I love that. So in this series of surrendering, we should surrender to the voice of wisdom. Sometimes it's a parrot, and we need to mend our ways. It's so hard for us to do this, to let ourselves get out of control. You ever want to get out of control? Stop controlling and surrendering. We're working with Coot Blackson's book. This is week 3 of a 7-week series. It's a great book called The Magic of Surrender. Not easy to surrender, but very simple in its premise. Just surrender control. Just do it. Just let it all go. Just let yourself be out of control. In the Great Plains, during the blizzards and whiteout blizzard conditions, often farmers would connect a string from their house to the barn, because they could go out to the barn and it'd be total whiteout and lose their way to find their home when they needed to go back home. And so they tie this string. Surrendering is like tying that string from our souls to our souls, allowing ourselves to rejoin our souls with our roles, allowing ourselves to find our way back. It can help you find your way back to your own wholeness by freeing you up from hanging on so tightly to all those things we think we need, and all those identities we think we need, and all those labels that we give ourselves and we give other people and we give our circumstances. It can be exhausting. We need to let ourselves get out of control. Out of control. Coot Blackson tells a great story in the beginning of this chapter about being on a train platform in India and waiting for this train and getting there a half hour early like we would here, and thinking the train's going to be here when it says it's going to be here, and waiting and waiting and waiting, which turns out to be a 9-hour train delay. And he's frustrated, and he's getting angry, and he's like, why can't the trains in India be on time? And then he notices a family that had spread out a picnic, and they had a blanket on the platform, and they were eating, and they were laughing, and they were having a good time. And he's like, why are these people having a good time? Don't they know the train's coming? But the train wasn't coming. The train comes when the train comes. He finally met a man about midnight. The train was supposed to be there at 9 o'clock at night. Met a man about midnight who said, the train's on its own time. You can either be in heaven or in hell on this platform. It's up to you. Why are you worried about the train? What can you do? What can all your worrying and all your stress do to bring the train here any sooner? Nothing. So let go of this need to make the train arrive sooner. You're in hell because you're frustrated that the train isn't here. And Coot talked about these lessons on the platform. These lessons on the platform. Lessons on the platform, it feels like to me sometimes when I'm up here. But lessons on the platform where he realized that, his mom, when his mom was dying, was the best time he ever had with his mom. Why was he in such a hurry to catch that train, get to the next destination, instead of spending more time with his mom? It's a lesson on that platform for him to slow down, to allow life to unfold, to stop being so rigid in its need to have things go his way. He says this on page 88, we don't always get to choose what the lesson is or how the lesson shows up, but we can determine how we go about learning it and whether we actually get the message or not. It's always our choice. It's our power of will, our ability to choose. We choose whether we want the lesson or don't want the lesson, whether we accept the lesson or do anything about the lesson or not. It's always our choice. We can continue to hang on to getting things done our way, or we can just let life be. We can let ourselves off the hook. Because resistance doesn't do us any good. Has resistance ever made anything happen quicker? Has resistance ever allowed us to be at peace? Resistance only puts us more in hell, in a mindset of hell on that platform. We can choose to surrender that. So if it's a choice, why do we let ourselves experience that? Why do we just not let life unfold? It's because we don't trust life. We feel like if we're not in control, if we're not dictating and orchestrating how everything goes in our lives, it's all going to fall to pieces. Is it really? Life is incredibly wise and knows what to do without our interference, without our resistance, without our control, without our micromanagement. Coot says this on pages 105 and 106. Each day you take 23,000 breaths. Your heart beats 100,000 times per day. Your blood travels 12,000 miles per day on its journey through your body. 25 million cells are being produced in your body every second. You blink at least 15,000 times a day. All of this is happening simultaneously in your body at this very moment without your effort. So why don't we trust life? All this is going on in our bodies and we don't trust life for it to just unfold. We need to control it. What if our bodies are incredible? If we get a scrape or a cut, it heals all on its own. It doesn't need us watching it. Okay, hurry up. Heal. It doesn't need that. What if every scrape, every cut, every scratch we got never healed? What would we look like today? Yikes. We can hang on to our way or we can surrender. We'd be a mess if we didn't heal, if our bodies didn't heal on their own. There's so many things that happen without our effort. The sun rises every day. The sun sets every day. The tides go in and out. All the animals know exactly their role. And we get attached to certain roles in our lives and feel like we have to make sure that things happen a certain way. And it's exhausting. And so many things can happen without our effort, but that doesn't mean we don't take action. It doesn't mean surrender means non-action. Koo says this on page 115, surrender doesn't mean non-action. It doesn't mean being passive, doing nothing or not taking responsibility for your part. It means you are following the clues instead of trying to make something happen that isn't, or trying to fit life into your little box. It's Unity's fifth principle, that we take action, that we learn these principles and then we use them in our lives. We surrender. We never know when we surrender how life is going to unfold. And I think that's the hard part for us. The not knowing, the unknown. This year and a half has taught us that. The unknown is really challenging to live in. But life has always been unknown. We never know what's going to happen. We can plan. There's nothing wrong with planning. We can have preferences, and there's nothing wrong with that. But letting go of that control, of needing it to be a certain way, just causes us a lot of suffering. It's like expecting the weather to be a certain way and not being happy when it doesn't. We have no control over the weather. We have no control over things that happen in the world, things, other people, just what's going on within us. We need to surrender. One of the great characters in the Bible, and I just love how he surrendered several times in his life and how things just really manifested in the greatness that his life was, is Moses. Not Moses the parrot, Moses the person from the Hebrew scriptures. Moses gave up control. Now, most of you know the story of Moses. He was born during a time when the Pharaoh was killing all the Jewish babies. And so his mom put him in a basket down the Nile, and he was rescued by an Egyptian woman, raised as a prince of Egypt, the Pharaoh's sister's son. And for 40 years, he was raised that way. He grew up in Egypt. He learned all the worldly ways of Egypt. Then he found out about his heritage. And he wanted to go see his people. And he saw how they were treated. For the first time, saw how they were really treated by the Egyptians. And he ends up doing something he later regrets and kills an Egyptian who's beating up a Jew. And he feels like he has to run away. So he escapes, he leaves his world that he knew, his life that he knew, his identity that he knew. He surrendered that life he knew to go to the wilderness. And he went to Midian. And in Midian, he became a shepherd. He became someone of a contemplative, living his life quietly. It's there where he met his wife, Zipporah. And Zipporah and he ended up getting married, and it's not long after that he has the burning bush experience, where he again surrenders the life he knew to lead his people out of Egypt, to return to Egypt, to lead them out of Egypt. Now, I love Bible stories because there are stories. When we look at them metaphysically, they're not just some story about some dude that happened, a long time ago. It's our story. We need to grow up. And often, most of us grow up knowing the world's ways first. We grow up with this sense consciousness. We grow up knowing cause and effect, learning cause and effect. And then some tragedy happens, maybe something we regret, maybe something that was within our control or not within our control, and we spend some time in the wilderness. We spend some time in contemplation. We have to surrender what we knew our life to be, who we knew ourselves to be, in order to be in a new place, in a new way of being. And it's there that we guard our thoughts. He's a shepherd. Shepherds metaphysically represent protectors of our thoughts. He had to protect those thoughts. And Midian is a place that represents taking dominion of those thoughts. So he's a shepherd that is taking dominion of those thoughts of regret, those thoughts of surrender, those thoughts of, oh, why did I do what I did? We've all been there. And being in a place of quiet. It's in that quiet place. That quiet place. And then he marries Zipporah. And Zipporah was, her name represents little bird. It means little bird, metaphysically. It means he harmonized with thoughts of flight, of freedom. So after we've spent time in the wilderness, after we've spent time in contemplation in that quiet place, protecting those thoughts, harmonizing with the ability to take flight, to change yet again, he has a burning bush experience. He has this inner flame, this inner knowing calling to him. He has again to surrender the life he's known to follow this calling. How many of us have had that? Where we've just had this knowing, this is ours to do. That's that burning bush experience. This is ours to be. This is who we came in this world to express. It's funny how in each part of his life, he spends 40 years. Now, we can take that literally, meaning he was 80 by the time he was going back to Egypt to leave his people out, and 40 more years in the wilderness after that with the Israelites. So he was 120 years old, maybe. Or maybe we could look at 40 as a metaphysical meaning of as long as it takes. As long as it takes to complete that phase. And so he has this burning bush experience, this inner flame, this inner knowing, and what does he do? What? You want me to do that? Don't we make excuses? We often make so many excuses when we hear our guidance. Oh, no, not me. Not me. I'm not an eloquent speaker. I'm not a leader. People aren't going to follow me. His excuses to God, the burning bush within. But God, Spirit says, oh yes. If I wasn't calling you, I wouldn't call you if you didn't already have the gifts you need to do it. So many times we get guided to be a certain way, to do a certain thing, and we think, who am I to do that? You wouldn't have that longing. You wouldn't have that calling if Spirit wasn't calling you, if Spirit didn't know you've got what it takes. You got everything you need. So then Moses says, well, who am I to say is directing me? Who is it? And what does the bush say? I am. I am. You are. I am able to change, to surrender, to give up this life I've known, to live a fuller life, a more free life, a more expressive life. A more expansive life that helps others. And what does he do with that? He leads his people out of Egypt to freedom. The Jewish people represent spiritual thoughts. He releases those spiritual thoughts from bondage. We do that every time we surrender. We have that within us. It's us. Looking back on my life, I see that I had this, I kind of had a call to ministry. It was different when I was younger, but I definitely was always super involved in the church. And it was the Catholic Church for the first 40 years, as long as it took, but it was literally 40 years that I was in the Catholic Church. And I had this deep sense of knowing that that's where I wanted to be, that's where I belonged, that's where my fullness would come into expression, but I needed the Egypt experience first. I couldn't become a nun when I was a teenager. I needed to be a wife and a mom and a employee and have a job and have a house, and I needed those worldly things. I wasn't ready. But I'm so glad that I went through that. And then have a wilderness experience, a contemplative time in my life where I really had to discern. And Coot talks about this in his book, is needing to discern what is ours to do, what is ours to be. Making that choice. I needed to wait for that divine timing to be right. Or maybe I just took a longer road. We often do that too. It doesn't mean it's a mistake, it just means it's a longer path to get to where you're going to end up. Yesterday I went for a walk, and I'm glad I was walking and not running, because I almost stepped on a praying mantis. It was just right under my foot, and I was able to move right away. And I always love Googling, okay, what does that mean? What does it mean if you almost step on a praying mantis? There's nothing in Google for that answer. But a praying mantis represents trust and introspection and new perceptives, new attitudes, and looking within. So when you see a praying mantis, it can mean that for you in your life. And I've noticed that that's exactly what I've been doing in starting this spiritual direction program. Just started last week. 2 classes every week for 2 years. But it's a lot of looking within. It's a lot of self-awareness. It's a lot of looking at unfixables. What is mine to fix is not any of you or any circumstance that is outside of me, but only what's within me is mine. There's a lot of synchronicity of messages that I'm getting lately. In one of the books that we're reading, it talks about rejoining your soul with your role. Rejoining those two. We so often get ourselves identified with those roles that we play in life. But rejoining the soul with the role means to surrender those identities and come into your fullness, come into your wholeness, realizing that you're a lot more than those roles. It can give new life to those roles when you can see the more that you are than that role. But it's impossible without surrender. We have to surrender to get to that. And sometimes that means to take action, and sometimes it means to wait. Coot talks about surfers having to wait for the right wave. They will paddle themselves out in the ocean and wait. They don't just jump on the first wave that comes along. They wait for the right wave. There's no control over it. The ocean is like life. We have no control over it. There are big waves and small waves and wide waves and all kinds of waves. And we don't have any control over, but we wait for what is ours, what wave is ours to ride. He calls it, one of the surfers called it the ultimate improvisation. I love that term, the ultimate improvisation, because to me, that's life when we surrender to letting life unfold. The ultimate improvisation. I was looking for a video to show, because when I hear the word improvisation, I think of that show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Maybe you've seen it. Drew Carey hosts it. There weren't any that were appropriate for church. But they're really funny. But I did find the rules for improvisation and how closely they align with the rules for life. First rule, be ready to play. Be ready to play in life. Have fun. Life is meant to be joyful. Be present and engaged in the moment. So improv and in life, be ready to play. Second rule, let yourself fail. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. We learn more from our failures than our successes. So let yourself fail. Trust that it's all going to be okay. Always be listening. We should be listening more than we're speaking. Very important in improv, because otherwise you miss the clues that come to you. If you're not listening and paying attention, they say this is the most important skill in improv. I think it's the most important skill in life, too. Listen. Listen to that still small voice. Listen to the people around you, because they're going to show you what they need, what this soul needs. They will tell you. Another rule, say yes. We did a whole year on saying yes here. Say yes to life. Say yes. When in improv, if you once you say no and you don't agree with what the other actor is saying, you hit a wall. There's nowhere you can go. You got to say yes. And what do you do when you say yes? After you say yes, you expand on it. Don't just say yes. Say yes and. Yes and. Another rule, play the game. Play the game. We're here to have fun. So, and then finally, relax and have fun. Relax and have fun. With improv, it's fun. Scary. I think about doing it, but fun. So is life. So is life with its ups and downs and challenges and rewards and all of it. We are here to experience all of it in this lifetime. So, improvising, the ultimate improvisation. There are so many advantages. We become more positive. We become more creative. We become a better team player, a better listener. We make better choices. We bring out the playful side of our nature. And we enjoy the moment. So let life be that ultimate improvisation for you. Let go, let yourself get out of control. Coote says on page 116, you have control over your response, your words, your actions, and how you show up. And that's it. We don't have control over all the other stuff, but just what's going on inside of us. How we show up can make a world of difference. Or we can make excuses and reasons why we don't want to show up. We can stay stuck in our identities and stay stuck in our roles and stuck in our smallness. But there's always the opportunity to surrender and be free, to let yourself get a little out of control and have more fun in life. So it's up to you. How do you want to show up in life? How do you want to experience life? I want to end with a prayer that Coote wrote. It's in this chapter. It's on pages 102 and 103. I surrender my need for control. I surrender the way I think life should be. I surrender my desire that things be different. I surrender. I surrender my need to know. I surrender my need to be known. I surrender my need for other people's approval. I surrender my imperfections and need for things to be perfect. I surrender my goals and my dreams. I surrender ego. I surrender I. Thank you, universe. I ask for everything that is not in alignment with my. I ask only for the highest good to be made manifest in my life. I surrender everything. Thank you, universe. I surrender. Peace be with you. Namaste.
One of the most challenging things to surrender over the last year and a half has been how our music team continues, how we continue to do things, how we continue to show up and support the messages that happen. And today was supposed to be the Welcome Back Sunday for our choir. And we had to surrender in the face of the Delta variant. And so we called up the A-team. And so I just want to acknowledge this group of people, Laura, April, Bonnie, Steve, and Pete, for just continuously being with us through this whole year and a half, answering the call over and over again, no matter what crazy idea I came up with. And also to Larry and to Dan for just being present and accounted for. So the idea today was to do this real gospel choir thing. And so today we're going to pay homage on this one to Ricky Dillard, and the song's called Release. There's a blessing in the room today. Are you ready? Get ready. It's already been released. There's a blessing in this room today. Are you ready? Get ready. It's already been released. And there's a healing in this room today. Are you ready? Get ready. It's already been released. And there's a healing in this room today. Are you ready? Get ready. It's already been released. There's a breakthrough. And there's a breakthrough in this room today. Are you ready? Yeah. Get ready. It's already been released. And there's a breakthrough in this room today. Are you ready? Get ready. It's already been released. Thank you so much. Whatever you need.
Chris, am I coming on? Is there any question that the Spirit is flowing today? Thanks, you guys. Woo! Oh, I guess you guys don't come up anymore. That's as close as they're going to get with COVID. Hey, we do an offertory blessing, but we take an offering every Sunday to support this community. We are a self-supporting community, and you guys make it happen, and we're so appreciative of that, either for the small gifts, the big gifts, all of it keeps us flowing, and so thank you. And let's say our offertory blessing that reminds us of where that source is. God's love has always met and will always meet all my needs. I give freely, I receive abundantly, and I am grateful. And so it is. We have a little bit of community news to walk you through today. First of all, as we've been saying for several months now, we have a really wonderful website now, and this website is the place to go to find out what's going on with us. We are now a paperless community, which we feel really good about, a green community. But it means that you need to go online, right? Or call us up if you're not online and let us walk you through it. Particularly, though, if you're new with us today and would like to be in the flow of our information, go to the website, let us know who you are, what your contact information is. We'll put you on our weekly email. You'll be in the know with what goes on at Columbine. So we didn't do our gala this year, but we've decided to do something even more fun. We're calling it Beans, Bevs, and Bids. We're going to have another chili and margarita party with one little extra in that we're having our auctioneer there too, so that we'll get to have a great time coming together. And that's one of our big focuses for this event. We just don't get to come together enough. It's going to be outside, so it's safe. We're planning on October 30th. If the weather isn't good, we're going to do it on a week later, which I think is the 7th, November 7th. But buy your tickets. I wish I could tell you for sure how much the tickets are. We're deciding that this week. So maybe the better word is mark your calendar. But reserve that night. We're going to have a fun time together. You may know, if you've been with us, that Trunk or Treat is becoming a ritual here. And it's for the kids, and it's going to happen on Sunday the 31st. Here's the deal. With Trunk or Treat, people come up and they've decorated the tailgate of their car, whether it's a trunk or whether it's a hatch, and they're handing out, candy to the kids, but there can also be, something kind of fun, something unusual. We give a prize out for the best trunk, and we need some trunkers. We need some of you that are willing to show up that day. We'll have you parked so that the kids are in the grass. You'll be on the edge of the parking lot, probably one of the best parking spaces you'll have here. But we would love for you to sign up. I'm assuming that's, again, on the website, right? Or through Breeze. Yeah, either way. Or you can go down and talk to Jeannie about it if you've got any questions. What's next? Oh, so last week we had our first gathering. We would usually have called it YOU, but this year we're combining both our middle school and our high school. I think we're probably still going to call it YOU, Youth of Unity. And it was very successful. Great event. So on the 10th, which is next Sunday, from 11:15 to 12:30, we're going to do it again. And it's going to be ongoing for these kids. So if you've got kids that are in middle or high school, or grandkids, or neighbors that might be interested that seem to need just a little support, wonderful to have them be a part of this. Who's our prayer chaplain today? It's Lydia! Fantastic! Lydia, where do you like to sit? Oh, cool. So Lydia will be in the back, and you'll know the prayer chaplain because she'll have a chair pulled up in front of her. This is an amazing opportunity to pray with someone who is focused on affirmative prayer, on the possibility that is rising through the situation that you find yourself in. And remember, too, it can also be to celebrate something with someone, to celebrate that flow and activity of spirit through your life. Okay, I think that's it. Let's stand, face the center, or not the center, but face the front, and we'll sing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. The heavens are open. The Spirit is flowing. Whatever you need, whatever you need. The heavens are open. The Spirit is flowing. Whatever you need, whatever you need. The heavens are open. The Spirit is flowing. Whatever you need, whatever you need, it's been released. The heavens are open. The Spirit is flowing. Whatever you need, whatever you need, it's been released. The heavens are open. The Spirit is flowing. Whatever you need, whatever you need, it's been released. The heavens are open. The Spirit is flowing. Whatever you need, whatever you need, it's been released. Whatever you need, whatever you need, whatever you need, whatever you need, release, 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 release. Hit me, y'all. Release, release, release. There's a blessing in the room today. Are you ready? Get ready. It's already been released.
Thank you, everybody.